what I'm doing now is just, letting the air out of my body. Try to have the same energy as an empty paper bag. And just wait for him because he's been programmed to run. So this is his previous life, so to speak. There he lowers his head. But I want him to figure out he doesn't have to run. One of many goals is for him to be full of roughage and concentrate and vitamins, minerals, trace elements, salt, oil, all kinds of stuff. And I want him to preferably feel like Muhammad Ali in the 60s or Mike Tyson in the 80s. And I want it to be like a pressure cooker where basically energy, steam is coming out of his ears. But walk around here at a walk, 4-beat walk, with his head low and relaxed, and look like an old milk cow, like an old dairy cow walking around with a lot of confidence, trusting me, or humans in general. And I want him then to think that this is great. I don't want him to turn his ass, and run away from me. When I go pick him up in the pasture, there he starts walking. So I just wait for him. He needs everything I teach the horse. I want him to think that he came up with this brilliant, marvelous idea. And there could be thousands of different things. In this case, walking like this. There he started trotting again. Because that's his previous life. He's been programmed. He thinks, the horse thinks that I want him to run. Absolutely not. I want him to feel confident, secure. Sometimes I'll use the word, I want him to be like arrogant or, nonchalant. With his nonchalant arrogance, which means, just totally content, just walking around here like an old dairy cow. But I will not and I cannot force him. Like I said, whatever I'm trying to accomplish, I want him to come up with that bright, brilliant idea, whatever it is. In this case, walking. So I just look like a hunchback with low shoulders. Looks like I'm maybe deeply depressed. But that's because I want to be as neutral. All I do is step with my belly button and my right foot in a straight line to his tail in order to keep the left door open. Because if I do not step up, the circle is round, which means if I do not step away from his nose, his front end, he's going to crash into me. Because the circle is round and I'm automatically am going to end up in front of the horse. And that's not being fair. We need to be as good, nice, and fair as possible. And when I say nice and good to the horse, that means, one of the things that means besides giving him a good life in a pasture with friends, lots of nutrition and food, etc., it also entails treat the horse as fairly as possible. We all want to be treated fairly. And also try to be black and white. No gray zone where the horse has to guess what the fuck is going on? What does this mean? We need to be very, very clear. Be as clear as we possibly can in our communication. And one of millions of things is when he's traveling to his left, make sure that the door is open. That's why I step up. We are not under any circumstances are we chasing the horse around, just aimlessly, just chasing him to make him tired so that we have the guts with a sharp bit, rubber reins with gloves with rubber inside so that the hands will not slide, so we can hang on for dear life, because we think we're going to chase the horse into submission, chase him tired. That doesn't work. We control his feet with timing, finesse, feeling, right angle, etc. But what I want here right now is for him to realize, forget about your old life. I'm trying to reprogram the horse to where he realizes that I do not want to, and I'm not asking him. Definitely do not demand off of him to run. I don't want that. I want him to walk around here with a lot of confidence. And there he started walking. So this is exactly what we're looking for. And whose idea was it to walk now? It was his idea. I did not ask him to walk. I would never do that. I just put him in a situation where he has to figure it out. Whatever it is. If it's this or changing leads or turn on the forehand, turn on the haunches, move sideways, reverse, enter the trailer, whatever the case may be. I want him to think that he outsmarted me, because that's in his nature. He's a flight animal. Other animals out there want to eat him. So he has to outsmart the predators. So I want him to think that he's outsmarting me. And after every lesson, the horse should be better, happier, softer, with a better self-confidence, more wet towel in his body. And the only way to achieve that is to get into his mind and get him to relax and feel confident. Because once he relaxes in here, in his mind, his body will automatically relax. But right now, all I'm asking for, what I'm trying to achieve here, is for him to walk. But I want him, after whatever we're doing, I want him to feel calmer, more secure, more confident, with a better self-confidence, softer, etc. In more harmony. Trust the human. So here now he's walking. And he came up with this brilliant idea of walking. So next step here now is to ask I'm controlling his feet this time forward. Now I'm going to create a roadblock, and what I'm trying to achieve then is for him to give me his nose. So we end up nose to nose, eye to eye. But there he started trotting again because he thinks he lives off of old memories. This is programming. He is a 10-year-old horse. They never managed to train him, so he may never be ridden. So he's a 10-year-old horse with no schooling. There he started walking again. So we need to be able to, the way to get into his mind is to control his feet, but with timing, feeling, etc. We can't just do that like a big wild bull in a glass store. It has to be done with finesse, timing, feeling, etc. And when I mean controlling his defense is to move his feet away from the predator. Even though, of course, they can bite and kick. But number one is that they are flight animals. And when you can control their feet in the correct manner, forward, so going north, south, west, east, which means forward, reverse, left, and right. And when you can control their feet, and they are soft, then it's very easy to get into their mind. So, with some of these older horses that have been programmed, for example, to go against pressure, to run because they've been chased on lunge lines, or people who think they know what they're doing but they do not, they put them in the round pen, and normally a round pen with really solid fence, 3 or 4 meters high, and then they just chase the shit out of the horses at maximum speed, hoping for the horse to throw in the towel. A lot of it is just chasing the horse around to make him or her tired, and hopefully then he won't bolt and buck and rear, and if we try to ride the horse, mount the horse, or drive the horse. It doesn't work. It does not work. Chasing a horse, try to chase him tired, cannot replace lack of experience, knowledge. Because that means I can be totally incompetent, have no fucking idea what I'm doing. I can't read the horse. I cannot send out the correct energy signals with my body. I cannot be in the right angle position, because if I just build myself a really solid fucking round pen with 4 meter solid walls, And then I just chase the shit out of the poor horse at maximum speed until he gives up. Ain't never gonna happen. All you do is you create a mentally broken horse, a scared horse, and that's not gonna create harmony. A relaxed and confident horse. You can never achieve what I achieve here by doing that. Because if that worked, people would not constantly contact us. Oh, you need to come and pick up the horse. Why? Well, we don't know what to do anymore. We have to kill him if you don't come. Because the horse is crazy. We can't catch him. He's aggressive. He's scared. He's nervous. He bucks. He bolts. All kinds of problems. And all of them horses, more or less, being chased on a lunch line with a bit. Sometimes the bit, the whole fucking bit, is out here. And I've seen, in real life, but also on video, there is one, sometimes a big man, a grown man hanging on to the lunch line, and one walking behind, chasing the horse. And sometimes only going in one direction, left for example, because they can't get the horse to go the other way. And I've seen video clips. People have shown me at clinics, etc., or online. Still, when one or two people are hanging on to the bridle of the horse, and the rider takes a chance, mounts the horse, and still the horse just fucking blows up. So it's not as simple as just chasing the horse tired. That cannot replace lack of experience, knowledge. And I don't know how many fucking times people have asked me, in writing or verbally, how can you work horses in the round pen with just some simple posts like this and a white tank? And I know what they mean because they've been to clinics and other places where they've seen videos online, and they need a really, really solid round pen. So the horse cannot break out. Well, you need that if you're going to just chase the horse tired at maximum speed and scare the shit out of him. Sometimes with an arm extension, with a big piece of plastic at the end, and even if the horse is running at maximum speed, they're doing this with the arm extension, the whip with a big piece of plastic, and just keep chasing, keep chasing, keep chasing, keep chasing. So there is no relief, there's no release, there's no comfort zone. Whatever the horse does, that whip, that arm extension, that stick is there with a big piece of plastic, chasing and chasing and chasing, no matter what they do. So it'll be like screaming, rape, 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 or fire, 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 or wolf, 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 constantly. And it just breaks the horse mentally. When I go out there in the wild, or in a corral system or a feedlot, I cannot have a companion that is mentally, that's like a walking dead zombie, mentally dead. Just pull the curtain down because they're alive, but they're kind of dead. I need a partner. Like if there's a man and a woman, they want to compete in a dancing. And the man man's body and the woman's body on the dance floor needs to merge in harmony. Because that's the only thing that will work, at least in my experience. I cannot sit there for 8, 12, 13, 18 hours on a horse with 20 kilos and a big fucking pain bit, and sit there constantly kicking the horse, spurring the horse, and the horse does not respond. And I have to try to muscle him around. When that cow is going to protect her calf, or you have a big fucking, 1,500 kilo bull on your ass, and especially if you're locked up in a corral system, hey, that horse better be super feather light so you can get away. But at the same time, I don't want a happy horse. And when people say, oh, the horse is just happy, that means he's scared, he's nervous, he's stressed, he's out of control, he has no guide in his life, he has to decide when to flee, when not to flee, he doesn't feel secure, etc., etc., etc. So what do we do then? Oh, the horse is just spirited. He's just happy. Okay, so why the fuck do you have sometimes two big pain bits, a chain across his nose, draw reins, and you're hanging onto the reins as if you were on a fucking boat, sinking, and you're hanging on to the rope from the helicopter trying to save your life. You're hanging on there for dear life in desperation. How many hours can you and the horse do that in the real world, where I prefer to be? It doesn't work. In the old days, before gunpowder, they rode into battle with both hands occupied, because all they had were swords and spears. And they actually rode into battle without reins, not needing the rein and a headstall. And that takes skill. It's nothing that you will achieve the first year with your horse. But it is possible. And people have, usually inexperienced people, they live in this, new world, this, politically correct, where they have a lot of opinions based on nothing, just emotions. They normally don't give a flying fuck about the horse. They don't give a shit about the horse. They just have a bunch of opinions based on nothing, because they were a cashier down at the grocery store for the last 30 years, and they had a 15-year-old cold-blooded gelding 17 years ago, and they have a bunch of opinions. And horses are suffering for it, because we pick up horses like that. I've picked up horses like that for decades when in Europe. Treat the horse as a horse. It's not, horses are angels. They are wonderful creatures. But they need guidance. And they're big animals. Even a small Icelandic horse or whatever can easily kill you. And it doesn't cost that little Icelandic horse more than it costs you to step on an ant. Not because they're mean, because normally when people die and get hurt, the horses are not intentionally trying to hurt the human. They're just big animals. And when you end up between a wall and a horse, or whatever, you're dead or seriously hurt. So here now he is walking. Really nice. Now he's starting to understand that, oh, okay, I don't have to run. I can just relax and just walk around here at a 4-beat walk, lower my head. Wonderful. So let's see what happens. You see there that little movement. That's all it took. I just moved and he reacts because that's old programming. Because I moved there, he thinks that I want him to trot instead of walk. So now, let's see if we can create a roadblock here by this post. So I'll just walk down here. And there, he gives him the nose perfectly. I take the arm, okay, see there, he misunderstood. That's old programming, but we just take it easy. There we go. And then I move out of the way and open up this way. Beautiful. Very, very nice. So now we change direction. So there, this is his third day. So I started working him a little bit 3 days ago. So this is his third day since he arrived, drugged, and his eyes were pretty foggy on the bus. But now the drugs are out of his system. So now do the same thing here. Just wait for him to realize that even going this way, you don't have to run. You can just relax and walk. There we go. So now it was a little bit, it didn't take that much time. And let's see here now if he keeps the walk. And if he does, I'm just going to create one more roadblock and give him the ultimate reward. The only thing they understand is the open door, the comfort zone, the release. The comfort zone means that when the horse is doing what we want, we're passive. They're under there's no stimuli. We need to leave them the fuck alone when they do what we want. If not, we ruin them. That's torture. That's animal abuse. If I keep at him, like, you know, let's say I'm mounted on him and I sit there with a lot of pressure in my rein, but at the same time I'm sitting there kicking him constantly with my legs, and I'm saying, keep this speed on the walk. Keep this speed. Keep walking. That's wolf, wolf, wolf. Fire, fire, fire. Rape, rape, rape. As soon as they think about doing the correct thing, and when I say the correct thing, I mean from a human standpoint. A horse can never, ever do anything wrong. Horses operate from instinct. A horse does what a horse does, just like a dog or a cow or whatever. So even if whatever he does, he ain't doing nothing wrong. He's just being a horse. So when I say doing the correct thing, I mean what we as humans consider being the correct thing. In this case, just relax, walk slowly. But the ultimate reward then, the extra reward. First reward is release, the comfort zone. As soon as the horse just thinks about doing the correct thing, whether we're on the ground, or I'm mounted, or in a cart, as soon as, whatever it is that we're asking the horse, as soon as he just thinks about it, comfort zone. Think of horse training, a room, one door each wall, 4 doors. One door must always be open. He needs to find that open door and that comfort zone where we are neutral, like I'm now. You know, I look almost probably from the bleachers. I look probably like I'm depressed. I'm just trying to, be very, very neutral or low energy. Because he's doing exactly what I want him to do. And it's the same thing if I'm mounted or in a cart or whatever. When he does, from a human standpoint, the correct thing, I'm just a passenger. The rein, there is no pressure at all in the rein. My legs are just neutral. They're just resting in, my feet are just resting in the stirrups. And I'm just trying the best I can to stay out of the fucking way of the poor horse. But if I cannot read the horse from the ground and have the right timing, etc., the right energy and so forth from the ground, how in the hell am I going to be able to do that mounted? That is impossible. And there now I try to get him to yield a little bit, basically leg yield to his left because he wants to take a shortcut. So I put a little bit of pressure there, much better. So I put a little bit of pressure there with my right shoulder. See if I can get him to move out a little bit. Instead of, I don't want the circle to be, I can also do this. Because I don't want him to make the circle too small. So I just took the arm extension and pointed it as an extra stimuli. And because of his background, he's 10 years old, he thinks that, oh shit. And we could see that in his response, that he thought, when I did that with the arm extension, aiming for his shoulder, even though I never touched him, but he thought, oh shit. But he calmed down quickly. So I'm just seeing here if I can get him to, because he wants to cut the corner, so to speak, because always the big magnet is the exit there. It's always like that, more or less, with all horses. Some very little and some a lot in the beginning. And that's why he takes that shortcut right there. So this lesson here, the main objective is to get him to understand that He doesn't have to be scared. I don't want him to run. You can just relax and walk. So basically, it's just about waiting for the horse. And when you are experienced enough to know that you will always end up with achieving your goal, and then the horse is calm, he is confident, he is soft, he's in harmony, and the horse will be problem-free for the rest of his life. Then that's water on the bridge. He will never again will we have a problem with that thing. Then you will end up with, there's no, you have a, then you get a lot of patience as a human. Because I know that I always achieve, I always reach my goal. And then the horse will be nice and calm and relaxed, in harmony, feeling secure. And the horse will be problem-free for the rest of his life. Even if he lives for another 30, 40 years. He will totally be problem-free. He will just become better and better. Every time you handle him, he will become more and more calm, harmony, relaxed, the self-confidence. And that's what we want. We can never have a horse that feels too much like Muhammad Ali in the 60s or Mike Tyson in the 80s before he stepped into the boxing ring. I don't want a pussy. I don't want a coward. I don't want a weak horse. I want a tough motherfucker. I want to build that self-confidence the best I can. And of course, breeding horses correctly, having the knowledge to breed horses that were born with the same mindset as Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, or an elite soldier, an army ranger. If you can breed horses like that, you don't have to, you have a lot of plus on your side because the horse was born with that tough personality. Some horses are born the opposite. Very, very scared of everything, very timid, very weak, mentally weak. But with the correct training, you can make them a hell of a lot better. Okay, they can never reach the level of a horse that was born with a tremendous self-confidence and really, really fucking tough, mentally tough. But you can always make any horse better. But we cannot do the impossible. So here now, let's see if I can create a roadblock up here again. And look at that now. Perfect. He turned right away, gave me his nose, and this, eye to eye, and faced me. And that's exactly what I want. And we never pet the horse, which means this. We rub him. Give him a massage. He's a sweet boy. So far, perfectly normal. Okay. So now we're going to kick him out. Back to his friends in that big pasture. Let him rest for a few hours before we bring him back in here. And that's part of, and so to speak, a byproduct of doing this correctly and controlling their feet is that the horse wants to be with you and he relaxes. And one of many other byproducts is that you automatically have a horse that stands still. That's why we can park the horses in the barnyard loose. More than one horse. And we can go get the saddles and the brushes, and we can go to the bathroom, we can change our shoes and what have you. And they're just standing there like this, resting in the barnyard. So that is one of many byproducts. Okay, it's too early to bring him out of here without a halter and lead rope yet, because this is only his third day here. So I'm going to put a halter on him and give him now the ultimate extra whipped cream with a lot of sugar on top of the mashed potatoes. And that's putting him back with his friends on green pasture. Okay, that's it. Okay, one more lesson. So this is the second one for today. So let's see now how long it'll take before he starts walking. We cannot ask for perfection right away. There, now he took a fraction of the time compared to earlier today, a few hours ago. Because if we ask for perfection, especially a 10-year-old horse, he's 10 years old with history. So if I ask for perfection, that would not be fair. You take the time it takes. Here's that roadblock. And he's really good. Lock that door. Lock that door. And there he comes. Lock that door. And there he comes. Lock that door. No. Okay, we'll try one more lap. Okay, lock that door. Give him another chance. There you go, buddy. Very good. Okay. Because earlier, a few hours ago, I made the roadblock up there. Now I moved it 1/4. And that's what happens most of the time in the beginning. I made the roadblock here now, created one, and that's why I moved the roadblock 25%. 1/4 to make sure that he is soft in all 4 road blocks. That he gives me the nose, turns and faces me eye to eye. So now just wait again for him to again figure out that I'm not asking him to run. He does not have to run. I just lower my energy as much as I can and try to stay away from his front end so that we do not lock the door in front of him. And then we just wait. And obviously, traveling to his left, he trots more, it takes a bit longer. And sometimes it's just because we, as humans, we chase the horse on a lunge line, like I talked about before, but only in one direction, because it can be more difficult because the horse has become one-sided. But it's really pretty, we don't care why he trots more going to the left. Initially like this at the beginning of his reschooling, it really doesn't matter because the solution is just the same anyway. Just lower my shoulders and keep that left door wide open. And then we just patient. Just wait for him. Because sooner or later, he will slow down like earlier today. Because my energy is as low as possible. I try to be like a statue. Like I said, just because he walked very nice and calm, left and going to the right a few hours ago in here, but if I ask him, if I demand of him to be perfect, now, that would not be fair. It takes whatever time it takes. So if we take the time it takes today, do it once, do it properly, let him figure it out, which he will sooner or later, and then we will have a problem-free horse for the rest of our lives. And he will be in harmony and nice and relaxed. And there, you saw her walking. Really good. So this is exactly what we wanted. For him to just walk like this. So then, roadblock here again. And he turns, gives me his nose. He could move his feet a little bit more that way. His left, my right. But we're not too demanding at this early stage. There, better. So I take the arm extension behind me. And there he opens up. Beautiful. Because I want him to I don't want him to take off at a full gallop or a trot. I want him to take off just like that, at a nice walk. Like I said many times before, be confident, not be nervous, not be anxious, not be scared, not be impatient, not be worried about anything. I want him to feel secure. I want him to eventually realize that no matter what, I'm not going to hurt him. I'm not going to chase him. I'm not going to be unfair. Always try to be as fair as we can. Whatever we do must be justified. It doesn't mean that sometimes it is justified to push him, so to speak, into a gallop. Because sometimes if you have to, you have to get that light bulb lit. But it's one thing to where I ask him to trot or even gallop because it's justified. I have to do that to get over that hump. So here now he walks really, really nice. So another roadblock over here by H. And see there how he turns right away. Really, really good. Take the arm extension behind me and very carefully, because preferably I want him to just walk off very calmly. Just like that. Perfect. Perfect. I don't want that big eyes, head up, the horse tense on pins and needles and looking very, very worried in his eye. I want him basically falling asleep. I want him to become so confident and feeling so secure that he looks arrogant, nonchalant in here. I hate stress. I do not want stress. And there, he started walking again. Really, really good. So another roadblock here by H. Really good. Take the arm extension behind my back. He could move his feet a little bit more this way, but we're not. Let's see if I can close that door. And there he comes. There he comes. Really good. Really good. Good boy. Take the arm extension, and there he opens up. Perfect. Very good. And he takes off at a walk. And that's the ideal. I don't want him to take off in fear, in stress, with the head up and his eyes worried. And if he jogs, we just ignore him. We just lower our shoulders even more and just let him figure it out. Because like I said, if I ask now for perfection, like, oh, you fucking horse, why are you trotting? You know you should fucking walk like a dairy cow. So if I'm asking for perfection, the third day he's here, and he's a 10-year-old horse with a lot of shit in his backpack, well, that would not be very nice of me. That's not fair. But we see the difference compared to the last lesson in here a few hours ago. He is so much better. He's not perfect, but I'm not asking for perfection. And there he turns and faces me right away. Arm extension behind my back. Up here. Get him to open up. And there he takes off at a slow walk with it low head. Perfect. That's what I want at the end. But like I said, sometimes you have to ask the horse to trot, sometimes even gallop in the beginning, because they need more forward motion, more forward energy in order to do what I want, in order for them to quickly understand what it is that I want. So sometimes the nicest thing I can do to the horse, let's say in this situation, if there's a resistance and if he says, you know, I don't understand, or I'm resisting you, well then sometimes the nicest thing I can do to the horse, instead of trying, and after 2 hours I'm still here, you know, and the horse still hasn't gotten it or still resisting me, well then it's better, if it's justified, to push the horse into a trot or even a pretty good gallop. And then the horse, like, right away turns around, gives me his nose, both eyes, so we end up nose to nose, face to face. And I can say, okay, good, that's exactly what I wanted you to do. Now we quit. But I only ask him to trot or gallop if it's necessary. So instead of spending a lot of minutes, you know, maybe an hour in here, and the horse still doesn't get it, or still resist, well, isn't it better then, from the horse's point of view, ask him to trot and possibly even go at a pretty good gallop, and it takes a few seconds and the horse says, turns up, you end up nose to nose, eye to eye, face to face, and you can quit. So it's better to do that than not asking him to trot or roll. I'll do whatever it takes to try to help the horse understand and get out of here. It's the same thing under saddle. The less I drill them, the faster I can help the horse, which means there are no rules. And see there, he blocks me there. And that is also very common. That is nothing unusual. That the horse sometimes says, that's more rule than exception, like this at the beginning, that a horse will say, I don't want you on that side. I resist you. I block you. You see, that's what he does there. So I'm trying to help him here. And there he opened up. And he stays at a walk. So that's really, really good. Really good. So there are no rules. The more you can cheat, and what I mean by cheating, the more, if you can come up with something else to help the horse understand and maybe it only takes a few seconds, instead of nagging the horse for hours and he still doesn't get it, and it just becomes a negative. So let's say I'm mounted on the horse, and the horse, I'm trying to get the horse to understand that I want him to change leads or turn on the forehand, turn on the haunches, which is, like at the end will be a pirouette if you want, or whatever. But I noticed that if I turn around in the saddle, so I'm facing his tail, so I have my left foot in the right stirrup and my right foot in the left stirrup, and then when I pull his tail, pull and release, pressure release, he understood right away. Oh, now I got it. Oh, you want me to change leads? Oh, you want me to do this? Oh, well, turn around then and pull his tail. So there are no rules. We want to help the horse as much as we can. And sometimes, in this particular situation and the round pen, if the horse doesn't get it or he resists, it doesn't matter why. Let's say he won't face you. He'll just say, screw you, I'm going to go the other way. And he has very, he doesn't have a lot of forward motion. Yeah, push him into a trot. And if he still doesn't want to or doesn't get it, push him into a lope, a canter. And then he says, whoa, whoop, right away he'll turn up. It takes a few seconds, and then he can quit. But then, once he gets it, and he stops resisting or stops blocking you, well, then we go back to this, walking. Because that's part of the goal, is for him to walk. So there are no rules other than when you're done with something, the horse should be better. He should be in more harmony, he should be calmer, more trusting, with a better self-confidence, with a more softer body. See here now? See there? How he immediately faces me. And there. And he walks off very slow. So this is perfect. This is really good. So I think now I'm just going to let him walk a little bit more. One more roadblock. And then we quit. Give him the ultimate reward, which is back to his friends in that huge pasture with lots of green grass and water. And we're also going to give him the last concentrate. Vitamins, minerals, trace elements, salt in the food, linseed oil, alfalfa, beef pellets, of course with quite a bit of water. It's basically soup. So as soon as we're done here now, that's what I'm going to do. Well, we can see here, traveling to the left, he's a little bit more trotty. But that's okay. He'll even out. Because we've made tremendous progress just today. So if he keeps on walking here now, we're pretty soon going to quit. Well, he didn't quite want to quit yet. Because I don't want to quit now that he's jogging. I want him to walk for a while. and then quit. Quit on a positive note, as positive as possible. So that he starts connecting the dot, hopefully that, aha, if I just lower my head and just relax and just walk like an old dairy cow, well, shit. Then I don't have to do this anymore. I get to go back to the pasture with my friends, green grass, hay, and a lot of concentrate mixed with all that nutrition. And we also give them even extra protein, not just the concentrate and the alfalfa, the lucerne. We also give them extra protein to build muscles. He needs a lot of muscles. There are no muscles where I want to put the saddle. But here now, see how he faces me there? Really, really good. So, just for the hell of it, there. And there was a perfect example how I can control. I'm starting to be able to control his whole body. So what I did there was I moved his hip. I moved his hip to his right. And also he came to me then. So when mounted, also I need to be able to control his head individually. Put it there, down, here. I should be able to lope a figure 8 on the right and the left lead with his nose 45-9 degrees. Let's do it, say to his right, on the right lead, let's say a diameter 20-meter circle. Of course the rein is totally slack, there's no pressure in the rein, it should be that soft like a wet towel. And then change direction, make a figure 8, lope on the right lead, traveling to the left with the nose 45-9 degrees to the outside of the circle. And of course, also to the left. I should be able to control his shoulders individually, his rib cage, his hip, and then we have 4 feet. So when I can control those different body parts individually, then it's very easy to get the horse to do really anything. The only thing you cannot teach the horse is to fly because he doesn't have any wings. Okay. So, no more schooling today. That was the last lesson for today. Okay.